Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to do a little video where I talk about why story is important, at least to me. I always see comments where people say, why do you talk about story, or no one cares about story, mostly with fighting games, but definitely inside of the Tekken community. And I think this is for a few reasons. One of the main reasons why I think people say things like story isn't important is because the story of Tekken has always been kind of confusing in a sense. And not only confusing, but it's only been about 3 characters: Jin, Kazuya, and Heihachi. And if you're really not, if you're really not a fan of those 3 characters, the story doesn't mean anything to you or the character that you play. And this is the biggest case for someone like me who play Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu has been in every single game, but his story does not compare even in the slightest to someone like Jin, Heihachi, Kazuya, or even Lars. The other characters on the roster does not get as nearly as much as attention as the Mishima or the Mishima clan organization. And I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people feel like story doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter to the character that they like or they play. And as we're going into Tekken 8, I really hope the developers can incorporate more characters into the story. I don't think they should just force characters in here and there, but a small appearance or a small interaction can go a long way, and it can get people more invested in the story. Because in a game like Tekken 7, where you have, I believe it's 54 characters on the roster, all of those characters are different people from different places with different perspectives on what's happening. And often when I watch tournaments like Evo or Rev Major, there's a few times where, let's say, Yoshimitsu and Kunimitsu are both on screen, or even Devil Jin and Claudio. You will hear the commentators yell out, "We have a lore match on our hands," referring to their interactions in the story. And even in small instances like that, I think story is very important, because in terms of gameplay, like Yoshimitsu and Brian, Yoshimitsu stealing Brian Fury's taunt, these things is what makes fighting games so incredibly good, in my opinion. Being able to highlight the accomplishments and the struggles of each character and intertwine them all into one cohesive story is not an easy thing to do. That's why we see games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, where when they do a story, they just separate the roster into teams. You have the good guys and you have the bad guys, and there's 2 objectives. But Tekken is kind of special because it's not so black and white like that. And this is why the story is so difficult, not only to understand, but to expand upon. Because I'll break it down simply. How many sides I can identify right now going into Tekken 8? You have Team Jin, which is Lars, Alyssa, Lee, Zhao Yu, Asuka, and maybe Jun Kazama. Then you have Team Kazuya, which is Bruce, maybe, if he's still aligned with Kazuya, Anna Williams, but she kind of retired, so who knows. And then that's pretty much it. I think Lucky Chloe is also on this team. You have a few people who's on this team. But then you have another team, Team Claudio and Zafina. They both want to kill Jin and Kazuya. You also have characters like Lita, and the story goes on. Paul Phoenix, Harang. You have so many different perspectives and different characters, and they all have their own paths that they're walking down. And this is why the community gets so outraged or so disappointed when you're watching the character ending and it's nothing for your character. It's a joke, it's a laugh, it's a gimmick, and that's it. It doesn't push the story further, because at the end of the day, the story matters. But when they do a bad job of representing your character in that story, for us as the player, it can diminish how we value the story as a whole. This channel has been focused so much on story because I really hope they push the bar further. We already seen in the interview, the first interview from Harada with IGN about Tekken 8. He was talking about redoing everything from the ground up, porting everything from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, dynamic maps, stages, lighting, super realistic details. But we also got a small snippet of story in there too. He hinted at how he wants to push Jin and Kazuya further. Their interaction is going to be the foundation for this next era of Tekken. And a lot of people want Kazuya to be killed off, and I really won't go down this path because I went down it a few times. But the real reason why I don't think they should do that is because the other characters on the roster. You really can have so much fun with having other characters contest the Mishimas. Claudio, Brian Fury, Miguel. Before they actually decide to kill off Kazuya or Jin, they should let pretty much every character on the roster finally get their run back. So many characters have been chasing these guys every single game, and they never get to that point where they actually are face to face. Christine, Eddie, Shahid wants revenge. Katarina, Yoshimitsu, Kunimitsu, Leo, Steve, Nina, Anna. There's so many characters on the roster who would give up everything to be in the same room as Jin and Kazuya. And the developers should give us that. That is what everyone wants to see. If they can accomplish that in Tekken 8, I don't think we would hear people saying the story is not important and it doesn't matter. Because I think the true reason why those things are said is because the answers and the questions we want have been ignored. I don't want to say ignored, but delayed for decades. So I kind of just wanted to make this video and just talk freely about the idea of characters and story, because I think it 100% matters. But like I said, when your character isn't represented, then it means less to that player. And I, being a fan of Yoshimitsu and Kunimitsu, really feel this to the core. Here's to hoping Tekken 8 will give us the satisfaction we're after. But until then, that's going to be it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and also go follow me on Twitter. I'll see you next time, and bye bye.